This is our newest restoration project that we're gonna bring to this channel. It is a 1976 Chevy Blazer. This thing may look a little rough, but trust me, it's worse than you think. We've got tons of rust. These are the usual rust spots right here. They always rust out, and you can see rockers are completely non-existent. Inner rockers are gone, and then the whole floor in here is just toast. This thing is gonna take a lot of work to get back to where it once was. This thing came from factory with an Oldsmobile 350 in it. No, I'm just kidding, it's a Chevy 350. Supposedly it only has like 30,000 miles on it, but I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it may have a little bit more, so who knows if that's true. In today's video, we gotta get this thing ready for sandblasting. So we have to get this whole thing completely disassembled. One of the first big things that you do when starting a restoration is you have to get the body sandblasted. And in order to do that, we have to get the body up off the frame, mounted on the rotisserie so we can rotate it 360 degrees, and the blaster can blast every single surface of this. Once it's blasted, we'll be able to see all of the problem areas, which I mean, we already know there's a lot of problem areas, but there may be more, there's probably more. So that's what we're gonna have to accomplish today, is getting this thing completely torn down, up in the air, and hopefully mounted on our rotisserie. With how old all the classic cars are getting, rust is pretty much a guarantee nowadays. One of the cheapest and best ways to remove any rust, corrosion, paint, body filler, you name it, is sandblasting. About a year ago, we got the 71 Cutlass sandblasted, and it easily showed us all of our problem areas that needed metalwork. This is 1000% worth the money in my opinion, because scraping the underside of a car before sandblasting is terrible. I do not recommend it. I'm all about saving money, but sometimes you have to spend it. So first thing that we have to do is actually tear apart this radiator support. We got to get this off because we're going to start to tinker with the motor. We got to see if this thing will even turn over. Supposedly, like I said, it only has 30,000 miles, so it's a low mile motor. It does not look very low mile though. So that's the plan. We're going to see if this thing will turn over, and then we're actually going to try and get this thing running. That's really going to dictate what we're going to do with this restoration, depending on the condition of this motor. And just like that, our brand new restoration has begun. This is probably going to be one of the craziest builds we will ever do on this channel. We're going to keep the classic look on this truck, but we're going to add tons of new technology to this build to bring it up to date.
¿Te rompiste? Ay, Dios.
No!
Muy fuerte. Muy fuerte.
Our goal right now is to get the radiator support disconnected from the frame, but first we have to get everything disconnected from the radiator support. And that includes the radiator. And for some reason we didn't drain the radiator, so enjoy.
Is it almost empty? Ready?
¡Ah! ¡Qué vacilero! Oh gosh. Oh my god. Bro, there's so much. Oh my gosh. You made a mess.
Is it almost empty?
Bro, there's so much coolant in this.
Clean that up there, boy. So we just got a couple more things to disconnect on the radiator support right there, and then the radiator, wow, oh my gosh. The radiator support is gonna come right off.
I swear nothing is ever easy. Of course, the two radiator support bolts were completely seized. But with two breaker bars, me and Mike were able to get them loose. I swear sometimes I have the worst luck.
Nasty. There it is! I got it, don't worry.
Mike and I's hands were already greasy, so a little bit of coolant doesn't bother us at all.
Oh, nice.
You can hear how rusted that bolt is in there. We were actually really surprised it didn't snap off. But once both body bolts were out, we moved on to our next issue. This truck actually used to be a plow truck. The owner of this truck had to have a pretty big battery mounted on that inner fender. And you can see that's that big square bracket that's welded onto it. The problem is they welded that to the Corsa bar as well. So Mike decided to try and wiggle it to see if he could break it free while I was getting the cutoff wheel ready to cut it off. And of course, right when I got it plugged in, it popped off. Awesome.
I didn't want to use that anyway.
Gotta be quicker than that.
That side's stuck.
Mike was right. This side was stuck. I was putting all the strength I had into this thing and I just couldn't get it to budge. Then I got a great idea, jump to the other side, use my man strength and get this thing broken free.
Alrighty, core support is off. This one was pretty difficult because it was seized and you could see how much rust fell out of it. It was really hard to get off. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can actually get this motor to run. So we're gonna hook up a battery to the hot wire for the starter, crank this thing over, hopefully it cranks, and then we're gonna dump some fuel down the carb, see if we can get this thing to turn over.
This is a huge moment. We're gonna have to send this thing off and get it rebuilt, which would cost thousands of dollars. We're really hoping we're gonna be able to get this thing running, but things were not looking good. The carburetor linkage was all rusted closed. So once Mike wiggled that free, next we tried to crank it over with the starter and it was not cranking. This thing was way seized. So the last option is to crank this thing over manually. And as I cranked, the bolt was just tightening, which means this thing is completely seized.
Alrighty, well the motor was completely seized. We couldn't get it to turn over at all. So I mean, it's pretty much, it is what it is. So we're either gonna rebuild this one or we're gonna have to find a different one to put in this. Hint, hint. Something maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, so we're gonna continue on this. We're gonna get the front drive disconnected. That way we can hopefully get to the motor, get the entire drivetrain pulled out. That'll be the next step. We're hoping that none of the bolts break and that this really goes smoothly, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
So let's get this drivetrain pulled out.
Alrighty guys, we are gonna pack up for tonight, but we made a ton of progress today. All of these parts we got taken off of the Blazer, so I mean, we're doing pretty dang good. The motor is ready to come out, so all we have to do is hook the engine hoist to it and pull that thing out. But look at all of these parts that we got out of this thing. All this is pretty much junk because we're gonna be replacing it. And then in here, I got most of the dash disassembled, and man, that's just so crazy. This thing is pretty bad. So next time when we come back, we're probably gonna get the doors off. We're definitely gonna get the whole drivetrain pulled out, and then hopefully get this body separated from the frame.
But you're gonna have to stay tuned for next week when we continue work on this 76 Blazer, pulling the drivetrain and pulling this body up off of the frame. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we did. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed, be sure to follow along. Let's get me to that goal so I can produce more cool content for you guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.